Window integrity, 1%.
Now!
Nick Fury is one of the most crucial characters in the Marvel Universe, and he has made an enormous impact on the Avengers while working as S.H.I.E.L.D. director. He's essentially the glue that holds the Marvel Universe together in a way, and he also has a quiet but firm on-screen presence. While Nick Fury prefers to stay on the sidelines and handle things from a distance, he does not shy away from getting into the thick of things when the situation demands it. He even lost his left eyesight during an explosion in World War II, and he now sports a cool eye patch to cover his eye up. Today we explore Nick Fury's powers and unique anatomical features and tell you all about the man that brought the Avengers together. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Tony, remember, I got my eye on you.
Does Nick Fury have any superpowers? Nick Fury is a long-standing character in Marvel comics and movies, and he is introduced as the mysterious director of the secret agency S.H.I.E.L.D. While Nick Fury did a great job at leading Earth's mightiest heroes, he does not have any superpowers in the MCU, and fans wonder if he had any powers in the comics. After noticing a decrease in sales, Marvel developed the Ultimate Marvel series, where they reimagined some characters and their capabilities. In this series, we were introduced to another version of Nick Fury, who also had a son, Nick Fury Jr. They even upgraded Nick Fury's senior skill sets and gave him superpowers with the help of the Infinity Formula. According to this storyline, Nick Fury was born into poverty and he enlisted in the US military to escape this life. In the military, he came across Captain America, Bucky Barnes and Gabe Jones among others, and they fought in World War II. When Nick Fury was injured in a landmine accident, he almost lost his life and even his eyesight. However, a French scientist named Berthold Sternberg gave him the Infinity Formula, which was diluted with the elixir of life that helped Fury recover. While Professor Sternberg saved his life, Nick Fury gained no superpowers. The formula did slow his aging process and make him look a lot younger than he was, but that was it. Nick Fury did gain some powers in a different storyline, wherein he investigates the brutal murder of the entity known as Uatu. Fury realized that he could just activate Uatu's eyes and look at the murderer through them, and he soon figured that Dr. Midas had killed Uatu. Moreover, Fury gains Uatu's powers when he activates his eyes, and the rest of the Watchers punish him for going down this path later. They even force him to observe the timelines and multiverses, and he then becomes the Unseen. As the Unseen, Nick Fury gains new powers such as hyper-cosmic awareness and uses them to defend humanity.
Those bad guys still in there somewhere. Oh!
How did Nick Fury lose his left eyesight? The Sergeant Fury comics explored Nick Fury's backstory and his time in the military, and it also tells us about the time he lost his left eyesight. In this issue, Nick Fury was working with a team of howling commandos to defeat the Nazis in the Second World War. Fury gets wind of the Nazis' plan to use a beam to knock their opponents out of the sky, and he then works with his team to locate a German soldier. Fury's team then forces him to get rid of the energy beam, and the soldier decides to retaliate by throwing a grenade at them. In order to save his team, Nick Fury jumped in time to catch the explosive and then throw it as far away as possible. While he saved his team, he could not distance himself and the blast injured his left eye. While Fury's accomplice, Dino Manelli, patched his eye right away, Fury visited a doctor after ensuring everyone was safe. The doctor told him that he could completely fix his vision, but then Fury would have to take a year-long break from the battlefields. Fury refused to go on such an extended leave and asked the doctor to just fix his eye, even if it meant he would lose his eyesight eventually. While Fury could still see, he completely lost vision in his left eye in 1963, and he then started wearing an eye patch.
You need to keep both eyes open.
Everything you need to know about his iconic eye patch. Nick Fury's eye patch is undoubtedly one of his most defining accessories, and he is mostly always seen donning it across the MCU. However, Fury did not wear any eye patch in other storylines such as the Fantastic Four. Here he worked for the CIA and later fought in the Korean War. It was later revealed that Nick Fury opted for a bionic eye replacement during these times, and another story arc also stated that Fury got his eye injury after Scorpio shot him in the eye. Another alternate universe known as USS Earth 199999 depicted Nick Fury with his eye patch. Here, Nick lost his sight after an animal known as a flerken scratched him over his eye. Fury was especially attached to this flerken named Goose, and they would often be seen together until Goose turned on him and scratched his eye. While Fury was offered several replacement eyes, he refused to opt for any such treatments and chose to wear an eye patch. In fact, the MCU also adopted this story arc to explain Nick's eye injury in Captain Marvel. His eye patch is his most identifiable feature, and it would be hard to even imagine Nick Fury without it.
This is personal.
Why does Nick Fury not wear an eye patch in Secret Invasion? Fans were quite surprised to see Nick Fury without an eye patch in the Disney Plus series Secret Invasion, and it seems like he has undergone a change in the Phase 4 MCU. Samuel L. Jackson himself explained why Nick does not wear an eye patch anymore, since the patch was an indicator of how strong he was. In Secret Invasion, Nick Fury has embraced his vulnerability and has a newer, weaker persona. He also walks with a limp, and many characters on the show also comment on how Fury seems to have changed after Thanos' snap. Marvel producer Jonathan Schwartz also gave his input on Nick's evolution, and he stated that his character now feels haunted by his past mistakes. Fury had to take many difficult decisions to protect Earth, and all these things finally got to him and changed him. While his personality underwent some changes, these changes were also reflected in his physical appearance, as he stopped trying to come across as a strong, intimidating character and embraced his vulnerability by getting rid of the eye patch. How did Nick Fury get such severe scars on his face? While Nick Fury abandoned his eye patch in Secret Invasion, he also seems to have many more facial scars than before. The series explores his character in great depth and also shows him in a vulnerable state. Fury also has a lot more scars than usual on his face, and 3 vein-like scars near his eyes are particularly quite noticeable. In the MCU's Captain Marvel film, Nick Fury got these scars after Goose scratched him near his eye with its sharp claws. Fans did notice that there was way too much emphasis on his scars in Secret Invasion, and they are also a lot more prominent than the scars he had in earlier movies such as Iron Man or Thor. He did not necessarily get into any new fights that gave him such scars, and the studio has also started toning down these scars that have caught the audience's eye.
That chair belonged to Louis XV. It's priceless.
Everything is priceless till it gets blown to bits in a hail of bullets.
Does Nick Fury suffer from paranoia? While Nick Fury has seamlessly guided the Avengers through the years, he does have paranoia as well as trust issues. He seems to follow his gut instinct, even if it means going against orders, especially if he feels paranoid about the lack of safety or security. In the Avengers, he went ahead to create Phase 2, an assortment of highly advanced weapons powered by the Tesseract, even if it meant that he would have to follow Hydra's research to do so. He did this because he felt that human security forces were hopeless against supernatural threats, and he remained adamant in many such scenarios. When the Security Council decided to arrange a nuclear strike on the island of Manhattan to control Loki's alien invasion, Nick Fury was paranoid about the safety of the citizens, and he even shot down a plane because he assumed that it must be carrying the nuclear weapon. His paranoia later led him to ask Thor to take the Tesseract back to Asgard, even if this action got him in trouble with the Security Council. Nick later did join hands with the Security Council to work on Project Insight, even if Captain America felt that the program was too aggressive and that it went against their values. The Winter Soldier movie also showed how Nick's paranoia and lack of trust strained his interpersonal relationships, as he went to great lengths to keep himself safe. When a brainwashed Winter Soldier almost managed to kill him, Nick staged his death and even tricked Natasha Romanoff and many other friends into believing he had died. This action gravely hurt Natasha's feelings, who saw Nick as an associate and did not like the fact that he lied to them while going underground.
You gotta tell me.
Did a shape-shifting Skrull impersonate him while he was gone from Earth? Was Nick a Skrull the whole time? Nick Fury first came across the Skrulls in the 2019 Captain Marvel film, wherein he especially befriended a Skrull named Talos. Later on, a post-credit scene in Spider-Man Far From Home revealed that Talos had been impersonating Nick Fury the whole time, and that the real Nick Fury had taken some time off from his job. In this scene, Nick Fury seemingly travels in a car with his consigliere marry Maria Hill, but we soon see the two of them transform into Skrulls and take the appearance of Telos and his wife Soren. Telos even mentions that he wanted to give the Edith glasses to Peter after Tony's funeral, which implies that Nick Fury had swapped places with Telos a long time ago. It seems like they switched places sometime after reversing the snap, but they could have even switched roles a lot earlier in the timeline. This even raises the question of whether Nick Fury was a Skrull the entire time, and that the real Nick Fury has been away for a long time while his friend keeps everything going on Earth. Fans also wonder how the MCU will incorporate this in Secret Invasion, and all these episodes have been answered in a recent episode of the series. While Talos and Maria Hills spoke about this in the first episode of the show, they stated that Fury was not the same after the snap. It is also revealed that Nick Fury decided to leave Earth about 2 years ago, just after the events of Avengers Endgame. In this way, Talos has not really been impersonating Nick Fury the whole time, and he has only been impersonating him for about 2 years. This also makes us wonder about what Nick Fury has been up to for the past 2 years, and Secret Invasion reveals that he was working to build an aerospace system named Saber. Did Nick Fury have a child? Nick Fury had a son named Nick Fury Jr., who first appeared in a comic book arc in 2012. He recently also debuted in the MCU in the television series Secret Invasion, where he is introduced as Nick Fury's deceased son, Nick Fury Jr., also known as Marcus Johnson, was raised by his mother, Nia Jones, for his entire childhood. He later grew up and even served in Afghanistan, where he got the news of his mother's murder. He returns home to find out who killed her, but Captain America and S.H.I.E.L.D. soon realize that a villain named Taskmaster is behind her death. They save Nick Fury Jr. and bring him to their facilities, but he somehow escapes. He eventually comes across his father, Nick Fury, and he later becomes an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. In Captain America Winter Soldier, Nick Fury does mention a wife while he talks to Steve and asks him to get her to safety. While some people may interpret this as him being married, Nick Fury does not have a wife in the MCU. He was merely talking in code to inform Steve that S.H.I.E.L.D. had been compromised by Hydra. What are some of the incredible physical abilities and skills possessed by Nick? While Nick Fury did not have any superpowers, he was a master martial artist and a seasoned expert in unarmed as well as armed combat. He was also a heavyweight boxer and had a black belt in Taekwondo. He also had a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu, and his combat skills were powerful enough to let him hold his fort even against the likes of Captain America. He was also a master strategist and had a brilliant tactical sense that allowed him to sense any incoming danger and change strategies as per the situation. He could adapt and improvise his strategies even in high-risk scenarios and was an advanced military operator. His experience with military organizations and S.H.I.E.L.D. enabled him to train as a paratrooper, ranger and demolition expert. He also had licenses to command sea vessels, helicopters, submarines, trains and even regular vehicles, and he could also wield a wide range of weapons such as swords, daggers and even axes. He had also completed Green and Black Berets Special Forces training, and he was an agent of the OSS as well as a liaison of the British Secret Intelligence known as the MI5. Fury was also a skilled marksman, and he was even ambidextrous to the point where he could shoot firearms with both hands. Exploring the secret of the Infinity Formula. Is Nick Fury partially immortal? After Professor Sternberg used the Infinity Formula to save Nick Fury's life in the comics, Fury had to keep using the serum at least once a year to stop aging. While the serum immensely helped Fury decelerate aging, he had to see many of his friends age and die right before his eyes. Professor Sternberg also demanded a higher fee to provide the serum yearly. Eventually, Steel Harris got his hands on the serum and even killed Professor Sternberg. Harris then started blackmailing Nick Fury into making him a part of important S.H.I.E.L.D. discussions. While things started going down with Harris, Val DeFontaine defeated him and secured enough serum supplies to last Fury for another year. While he was not immortal in the same way as supernatural deities, Nick Fury could cheat death by continuing to use the Infinity Formula serum to stay young. However, he eventually decided to stop taking it, and he also started aging very rapidly after he transferred all the Infinity Formula in his blood to Winter Soldier in order to save his life. The What If series explored an alternate reality where Nick Fury managed to retain his youth and remain young forever on Earth 9047. In fact, Nick even shares a copy of the formula with his friend, some dumb Dugan, so that he could have a friend who would stay young with him forever. Does Nick Fury die to make sense in the MCU? All about his fake deaths. Nick Fury had a habit of allegedly dying and then returning alive in the MCU, and has done this thrice so far. He first faked his death in Captain America: Winter Soldier, wherein he pretends to be dead and goes underground after Winter Soldier sets out to kill him. He later died again in Avengers: Infinity War due to Thanos' snap that killed off half the world's population. However, fans had some hopes of him returning with the rest of the world when the Avengers set out to undo the effects of the snap. If dying and returning to life twice wasn't enough, Marvel decided to go ahead with this plot once again in Spider-Man: Far From Home, where Fury was shot dead by a drone. It is later revealed that this was just an illusion created by Mysterio, but fans couldn't help but notice how often the MCU has used Nick Fury's death as a minor storyline. Moreover, Nick Fury has such a crucial role in the Marvel Universe, and he can be written into any storyline revolving around Captain America, Winter Soldier, or even the rest of the Avengers. He remains one of those iconic characters who link to the past phases of the MCU, and his presence provides a sense of familiarity to the fans as well. It does not make sense to kill him off just yet, as he has great potential to be included in upcoming MCU content.
Who's a good kitty, huh? Huh, Goose? Yeah.
In conclusion, to sum it up, Nick Fury has lived quite an interesting life and played an integral role in several other superheroes' lives. He remains one of the most important beings in the Marvel Universe, and he has created quite a legacy for himself and the Avengers.